Hello everyone. Welcome to video lectures on data mining and data warehousing, Module 3, Association Analysis. In this video, we are going to discuss alternative method for generating frequent item set. So we have seen that in the previous videos, a priori is one of the earliest algorithm to have successful addressed the combinatorial explosion of frequent item set generation. So we know that it achieves this by applying the a priori principle to prune the exponential search space. So it's significant and always performance improvement will be considered, the algorithm still which incurs in considerable I/O overhead, input output overhead, since it requires making several passes over the transaction data set. So in addition to that, the performance of the a priori principle or algorithm may degrade significantly for a dense data set because the increasing width of the transaction. So several alternative methods have been developed to overcome these limitations and improve upon actually the efficiency of a priori algorithm. So one thing is traversal of item set lattice. So we have seen that a search for frequent item set can be conceptually viewed as a traversal on the item set lattice, which we have seen in the previous diagram. The search strategy which are employed by an algorithm which dictate how the lattice structures traverse during the frequent item set generation process. Some search strategies are better than others. So depending on the configuration of frequent item set in the lattice. So now we are going to discuss, there are some techniques which will be used for alternative methods for generating frequent item set. The first one is general to specific versus specific to general. So in such cases, we are going to discuss the equivalence classes and breadth first search technique will be discussed and depth first technique will be discussed there. So after that, how we can represent. So there is a representation of transaction data set. So in this case, here the a priori algorithm use a general to specific search strategy where pair of frequent bracket k minus 1 item set are merged to be actually the k minus 1 item set are merged to be the candidate. You can call it as a candidate k item set. Okay. So this general to specific search strategy is effective. We say that. So it provides the maximum length of frequent item set is not too long. So this we should keep in our mind. And the configuration of frequent item set works best with this strategy. So which our diagram is there next, figure 6.19 general to specific figure A. We are taking the started with a null set and frequent item border will be drawn there and dot a1 a2 a3 and up to an number of element will be taken. Okay. So in that configuration, that we need to take it. So where the darker nodes in that diagram, so which represents the infrequent items, and alternatively a specific to general strategy which looks more specific frequent item first. So before finding the more general frequent item set. Okay. So that will be taken in the frequent items with border in the figure B, which are located nearby the bottom of the lattice, which are shown in the figure B we have taken. So here, especially another approach is to combine both general to specific and specific to general search strategies. So this bidirectional approach requires more space to store the candidate item set, but it can help to rapidly identify the frequent item set. So here the a priori principle can be applied to prune all the subset of maximal frequent item set specifically. So if a candidate item k item set is maximal frequent, so we do not have examined any of its subset of size k minus 1. However, if the candidate k item is in infrequent, we need to check all of its k minus 1 subset in the next iteration. So this is the case. Other approach we have taken. So now we'll see that diagram representation of general to specific, comma specific to general, and both bidirectional. So we had discussed in the first figure A, the configuration of frequent item set works with best strategy. With the best with the strategy is the first one, general to specific. So this is the dotted circle, another one is empty circle, that is the null set we have to start. So with the darker node, you can call it as node, which represents the infrequent item set here. Whatever the darker node, which is the infrequent. So frequent will be noted only the starting state. So frequent item set border. So that border we have drawn here, we are going to take it from this side on. So now this alternatively another is which are going to see the second one, uh, general to where specific to general strategy, which is look for more specific frequent item set first before finding the more general frequent items. So this is the case reverse. We are going to first find out the that is specific to general more frequent item first other than infrequent item. So here frequent item border will be taken for here because all we have found out here. Okay. So another case. So why? Because this strategy figure 6.19b strategy says that so useful to discover maximal frequent item set in the dense transactions. So that is a bulk transactions we are going to use where the frequent item set border which is located near the bottom of lattice. So this is the borderline in the sense when we started from the lattice from here, this is the top, this is the bottom. So which are located here, a border, frequent item set. This is the draw line. Now the another one is bidirectional. So here, what we are going to tell, we know that this is the combining approach. Both approach will be combined, general to specific and specific to general search strategy. So this bidirectional approach, which requires, we told about more space to store the candidate item, but it can help only rapidly identify the frequent item set in a respective borderline. That is the help which we are giving by this bidirectional approach. So other than this, next we are going to discuss equivalence classes. So equivalence classes, this is another way to envision the traversal is to first partition the lattice into disjoint group of nodes or equivalence classes, in the sense we are going to use the entire the lattice diagram, we are going to divide it into disjoint group of nodes. Okay. So that will be how it can be help. A frequent item set generation always searches for frequent item set within a particular equivalence class, because anyhow we are dividing the classes. So within that class we are going to search first. So before moving to the another equivalence class, that is the strategy of this equivalence classes. Why we need this? So here an example we have taken. The level of strategy used in the a priori algorithm can be considered to be partitioning the lattice on the basis of the items and how much item, what is the strength of the item, based upon that we are going to take. So which algorithm we know that which discovers all the frequent one item set first before proceeding the larger items, similarly two items, similarly three item, four item, like that we are going to take. But equivalence classes can also be defined according to the prefix or suffix labels of an item set. So in this, what we say that uh, in this case, two items that belong to the same equivalence class. So if they share the common prefix or suffix, or you can say that length of the k is an item set. So in the prefix-based approach, the algorithm can search for frequent items starting with the prefix a, for example, a, before looking for the starting. So that is there in the diagram. We have to take prefix, and based upon in this diagram, we are going to see that. So in the prefix-based approach, the algorithm can search frequent. This is the prefix and the suffix tree. Okay. In the prefix tree, so we are going to see that a, for example, looking the element is a. So which is those starting with the prefix b. So start with the prefix b along with we have taken the equivalence classes B, C, and so on. Okay, in the prefix base. So both prefix and suffix based equivalence classes can be demonstrated with this diagrammatically. We are taking in the particular representation. So prefix based, we have taken the, so A started with A, all the letter A, B, A, C, A, D. Similarly, A, B, C, A, B, D. After that, A, C, D. Similarly, A, B, C, D. If you start with the B, then you need to start with B, B, all the B. If there is a single, then you need to start C, D is not there. So this is called a prefix tree for the which we have taken starting letter. We need to take the first letter, starting letter. Okay, letter or an element you can see. Similarly, suffix tree is say that taking a, suppose that a is not there, a started with a, b, c, d. We are taking a, b. So b is here, b is end with the suffix AB, and C is end with AC and ABC. Similarly, here C end with ABC, because ABC here, the C is end here, B is end with here, C is end with AC, BC, and ABC. Similarly, here D end with AD, BD, CD. Similarly, ABD, ACD, BCD, and ABCD. So this is the equivalence classes based on the prefix or suffix label of the item set. Very easily we can go into calculate. This is about equivalence classes. Another is breadth first versus depth first. What is the says that? So the a priori algorithm traverses actually the lattice in a breadth first manner, which are shown in the we have the figure, the next figure. Okay, figure A also there, breadth first and depth first. Okay, which we have taken again a small. There are two node. One is darkened node, another is a circle, empty circle node. So the first, which discovers all the frequent one item set, which are followed by two frequent item sets. Similarly, three, four, whatever I told like that. So until no new frequent item set are generated, so the lattice can also be traversed in depth first manner, and also we can traverse in the breadth first manner. The algorithm can start, say, node A in the we are going to take the figure here. uh, backtrack method almost we are going to use to continue the search for that one. Just we'll see that in diagram depth first approach is often used algorithm for maximal frequent item set. We know that. We'll see in the diagrammatical representation. Yeah, this is the first one and this is the second one. So now come to the first one. The algorithm can start from say node A in that first figure, and the count is supposed to determine whether it is frequent. So the algorithm progressively expands the next table of the nodes A, B, that item element which are not visible here, A, B, A, B, C, and so on. So until an infrequent is node is reached, say A, B, C, D. Here last we have taken here, that is A, B, C, D, last part. So which are taking the particularly level of part. So it then backtrack the another branch, say A, B, C, which are going to the next backtrack and which will change that one. So A, B, C, E, A, B, C, E will be taking and continue search from there. So in case of depth first, it is often used by algorithm designed to find the maximal frequent item set. This approach allows the frequent item border to be detected. We have make dotted line is the border. So border line more quickly than using the breadth first search. Once the maximal frequent item set is found here, substantial pruning. Pruning means we need to remove and which are not infrequent. That item can be removed. So the subset, for example, BCD in the figure 2B. Okay, so that we have not taken here, which is not visible. So that will be considered as how we are going to take the depth first search generating. Usually, you can call it as generating candidate item set using depth first search. So this is the candidate item set using DFS, depth first search method. So what we have taken, A started with, and L this is the borderline we have taken. So A B A B C A B C D A B C D E. Similarly A B C E. Similarly here A B D started A B D A B D and A B E. So that method we are going to apply the same thing strategies we have found here. So maximal frequent, then algorithm doesn't have visit the subtree root node A like B, D, B, E, C, D, E because they will not contain any maximal frequent item set here. So if the ABC is a maximal frequent item, so only the node AC, BC are not maximal frequent. AC and BC are not a frequent item. So that is the case here. But the subtree of ACBC still contain the maximum frequent items. The DFS approach allows different kind of pruning based on the support of item set. Suppose the support for A comma B comma C is identical to the support for A comma B in this diagram. The subtree rooted actually ABD and ABE can be skipped because they are guaranteed not to have an maximal frequent item set. That is the thing. The proof of this again we need to solve it if it is required. So now we are going to discuss the representation of transaction data set. So we know that there are many ways to represent transaction data set. The choice of representation can affect the input output cost which is incurred when computing the support of candidate item set. This is the thing need to be considered. So another here in the next coming diagram, it shows the two different way to representing the market basket transactions in the next diagram. The representation of the one left hand we are going to call it as, so here left hand. So that is called a horizontal data layout representation. Another is which is adopted by many association rule and mining algorithm, including a priori principle. Another is possibility is to store the list of transactions TID first, that is the associated with each item. Such representation is called as vertical data layout representation. The support for each candidate item set is obtained by intersecting TID list of its subset items. So here actually the length of the TID list which shrinks we as we progress to larger size items. But here, however, one problem or limitations. One problem with this approach is that the initial set of TID list may be too large to fit in the particularly memory page or memory primary memory. So which is recurring, so which is requiring more sophisticated technique to compress the TID list. So that is we are going to describe the later stage. So which is the effective approach to represent the data, in particularly we are going to see in the epic growth algorithm. Now come to first here, the horizontal data layout representation. How we are going to take. So TID in the one column and the item set of item will be the second one. So TID one. So in the hierarchy of the binary tree representation, so A, B, C. So A, B, E is the first element in the first transaction and continued with the second transaction ID 2, started with B, then C, D. Third transaction started with C, E. Fourth transaction started with again A, C, D. And fifth transaction started with A, B, C, D. Sixth transaction is started with A, comma E. Seventh transaction started with A, comma B. So eighth transaction is started with A, comma B, comma C. Ninth transaction is started with A, comma C, comma D. Last 10th transaction started with B. So how we are going to this horizontal representation we are representing in the vertical representation. This is the thing. Okay, let us discuss what number of items need to be taken first here. A, B, C, D, E. Because no more than that element, no F and G, H, I, J is not there. So only A, comma B, comma C, comma D, comma E. Okay. Let us discuss about here. So the TID first element we have taken here dashed line. So A is the transaction 1. Okay, write 1 in this column. Next B, again B is there in the first transaction. Yes, B. Okay. C appeared in second transaction. We write it 2. So D appeared in the second transaction. We are writing it 2. So E appeared in the first transaction. So we have written in the. So in the first row of all the element below the, we can call it the first row is complete. The vertical data. Okay. In second row, we are going to come now. Second row again, element is A. We need to see where it is repeated. So A is repeated in the fourth transaction. Write it 4 here. Next B is repeated is in the second transaction B 2 here. Also 1 also there. Then next is 2. And C is repeated in the third transaction. C also 2 also there. Now going to third. So in the first row it is 2, second row 3. D also represented in A, B, C, D fourth transaction. Similarly, E also represented in third. So E1 also, after that 1 E3. Okay. So next A. So A is the fifth, A, comma B, comma C, comma D. Again fifth, B fifth, C fourth, because C started not from the first four, C4 and D5. Okay, D is the 5 here. Okay, D5 and E 6. Similarly, A again in the sixth, A comma E is there, 6, and B, we are thinking about B is seventh is there, B, and C there, eighth C is there, okay, eighth C is there, and eighth C, and D ninth is there, D ninth, okay, and E is not there here, just put a blank or dash dash dash, whatever it is. Next, A is again 8th, A is there, B is the 10th, okay, and remaining is not there. So like that, again A is the ninth will be taken, B 10th here we have taken. So this is the, this is, we can call it as the uh, horizontal as well as vertical data layout representation. The thing is, this is if the data element item we are calling it as an item. So if the item name, suppose that bread, beer, Coca-Cola, egg, milk, diaper, so whatever so it is, if the item name into number of character into number of item set, for example 1000, 2000, so if the representation is too large to represent in the memory space, there is a drawback, and later we will have a discussion about how we are going to, that is a FE frequent pattern, that is a FE growth algorithm also there we are going to discuss. So this is about general to alternative. Say that alternative method for generating frequent item set.